What's up, friends and fam? My name is David Cola and I play the drums. It's Q&A day, guys. It's quarantine Q&A with whiskey. Alright, like every other Q&A, I ask you guys on Instagram to send me questions, and I have questions, so let's just jump into it. What's your dream endorsement? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is obviously the dream because my last name is actually Cola, and I feel like it would make a lot of sense if I worked with Coca-Cola on something. How old are you? I am 24. What is the best content to post, and what advice would you give to become well known? The best content to post is content that you truly believe in. It's your content. I wouldn't advise just making content to get a following. Make content that you would enjoy, that you would be excited to share. Because honestly, that's how I started doing Instagram and YouTube, is because I wanted to make content that I enjoyed and can share and also look back on eventually. And I wouldn't say I'm well known because there's obviously people out there with millions of subscribers and whatnot, and I'm not even close to that. But what I can say from watching a lot of those people is that the biggest thing that they harp on is making content that makes you happy, like content that you enjoy. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you should make stuff that you truly want to share and truly want to do, instead of doing things that you don't want to do. And just in general, I feel like that's what life should be about anyways, is to do things that you truly want to do versus doing things that are just for followers. Ooh, interesting question. Who inspired you to play drums? So for me, starting out and playing drums, I wasn't inspired by a specific person, but I was inspired by the game Rock Band, and that's how I started playing drums, was because of Rock Band. It came out, my parents, I believe, got it for myself and my brothers, and I played the drums, and it just came sort of natural to me. And I could do like the expert setting, and I was obsessed with that game, and I would play it like endlessly. And it was because I could do like the expert level on Rock Band that it got to the point where I was like, well, if this is easy, so I'm sure drum set will be easy. And here I am 10 years later trying to get better still at drums, because it's not easy. What do you recommend to somebody who wants to improve his flow? Any process? Yes, the David Cola chop method, chop guide that you can find on www.davidcoladrums.com/lessonpacks. What's your approach to learning new songs? I follow like a method that I believe Dave Elitch talked about in a podcast that I listened to, where before you even start playing a song, I listen to it and I chart it out. And from that point, I listen to it again if I have the time, of course, and then follow my chart to make sure I did it right. And then from there, I will then play the song and follow the chart. And if I'm trying to memorize a song, then I will play the song without the chart and try not to look at the chart. And I feel like that's been the quickest process for me to learn songs. Charting out is very key to me, because instead of just jumping in and trying to play it by ear from the very beginning, I feel like you can really write down all of your thoughts and everything that you see in the song and all the hits, and you can see the structure of the song. And I feel like because you are basically like note-taking and because you're basically writing out the entire song, it's easier to learn because you've written it down and you followed it through once before you actually start playing. So for me, that's a lot easier, and I believe Dave Elitch does the same thing. What music genre is your favorite? You play so many different ones. Honestly, I'd probably say my favorite genre is indie music. Just because I grew up with indie in high school and I was just obsessed with it. It's just like happy, upbeat music, and it always just makes me feel good in the soul, you know? So I'd say at the end of the day, it would be indie music, because that's what I listen to the most. If you weren't a drummer, what would you be doing instead? I would most likely be a gamer and still doing YouTube, but playing video games. Not even joking. I'm pretty positive that's probably what I would be doing. And it's actually something that I want to do eventually too, is I would like to play video games and stream. Like, imagine that I go on tour for a couple months, if I ever get a tour. And then when I'm off of tour, I can just stream and make videos and make sick content and, I don't know, play video games and hang out and have fun. Because I think it would be fun. What got you into the music industry? Friends and mentors really helped push me into the industry. I talk about E-Man. I'm pretty sure I talk about him in every single video. But E-Man, who plays with Andy Grammer, is my daddy of LA. And it's people like him and all my teachers in school that really helped me figure out what I need to do to succeed in this industry. And all of them connected me to different people and friends that have helped me thrive. Well, I don't know if I'd say thrive yet, but helped me get into this industry. When did you decide drumming was what you were gonna do for a living? I think the biggest thing was when I saw the original Berkeley Chops video with JP Bouvet and Matt Garska. It's one of my favorite videos ever, and that's what inspired me as far as like creativity around the drum set to like pursue it like full-fledged. I was like, I want to learn what they're doing, and it was like all the chop stuff, of course, but I just couldn't process at the time like what exactly they were doing. And so it was my goal to go to that school and figure out what the heck they were doing. And just my passion for it, I was just so excited to learn more and to get better. And watching, say, like people like Juan Carlito Mendoza and Matt Garska, Dave Weckl, Vinny Colaiuta, all these people, just, I was like, I want to get to that level. And I've never stopped. I just want to get better at the instrument. Also, a big part of my life and career was my band director in high school introduced me to Taylor Swift's guitar player, one of her guitar players. And he actually went to my school years before I was there. And I think that was the biggest thing for me because I saw someone that grew up in the same environment, went to the same school, grew up in the same town, and he was now playing arenas with Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, if he can do that, then I can do that. And that's what started this sort of journey. And that's also been motivation for me other than just the technical side of drumming and getting better at that. Favorite anime? My favorite anime, of course I watch My Hero Academia. It's one of my favorites. It's a great show. Naruto is still probably one of my favorites of all time. Just growing up, I grew up with it, so. Demon Slayer is another. I just watched Terror in Resonance lately, which is really good. Fire Force, Black Clover. I really like the shonen type stuff. Classics like Death Note, of course. There's a lot. I just named all the top ones that everyone would recognize, but I watch other ones too. How do you stay motivated? That's a deep question. Okay, how do I stay motivated? Especially during times like these where lots of stuff has been canceled and a lot of my sources of income have been dried out, so. And no, I don't just drink whiskey and play video games all day. At the end of the day, I just think about my dreams and my goals, and even though that might sound vague, it's just my dreams and my goals. And it's funny because I actually posted a clip today on Instagram by Casey Neistat, which is one of my favorite quotes from him. And it's so simple, yet it just reminds me to keep going. So here's that clip.
What keeps you motivated? What keeps me motivated? Well, in short, I'm here. All of my dreams and aspirations are here. And the only thing in between these two is a bunch of work.
And yes, it's as simple as that. You're here, your goals are here, and everything in between is just work. And that's it. It's just work. At the end of the day, to get to where you want to be, you just have to frickin' work. And so that's what I need to do, and that's like part of how I stay motivated to get to my goals. And I feel like something over the years I've been trying to do is to accomplish something every single day. So every single day I wake up and I plan out my entire day, or sometimes I'll plan out entire weeks at a time, just to make sure that I'm getting something done and progressing towards a goal. And I feel like this is something that is really good to develop in your own life, if you haven't already, of course. Even if you're working on something for 5 minutes every day, at the end of the year, you're going to make progress. And it's easy to keep thinking on a grand scale, but it's until you break it down to like the day-to-day basis of what you need to do, then it won't be as daunting and you'll see yourself making a lot more progress than you would imagine. And I feel like it's easier to stay motivated when completing simple tasks every single day versus just seeing this goal that's years ahead and being like, okay, let's do it. It's a lot easier, at least in my opinion. But it's difficult to stay motivated at times, and it's easy to get burnt out of what you're doing. And that's why even something for me lately that I've talked about before is priorities and balance of my priorities. So something for me is that I actually need time for myself so I can stay sane at times. And that's something that I'll even schedule into my days, just to make sure that I have at least like an hour or 2 hours maybe just for myself to do whatever I want every single day. But I feel like it's important to stay reasonable with yourself and what you're actually capable of doing and what you're not. And also I have my go-to things that I know will get me motivated again. So let's say I get burnt out and I need to find motivation. So something I'll do is even just watching old videos of mine to see how far I progress. So for example, I'll go through like home videos of me playing in high school, or like my first drum covers and stuff like that, and it's easy for me to see how far I progress, and that can help motivate me to keep going, to keep progressing. I also read lots of like inspirational books like Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, or Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. I watch a lot of inspirational YouTubes. Gary V is one of those as well, and Casey Neistat, and Peter McKinnon, and people that are doing what I want to do. I feel like that's a big source of motivation for me. And even just looking at my peers and friends and fellow Instagrammers or YouTubers and see what they're up to, because that gives me motivation whenever I see them doing something creative and working hard towards something. It helps me find motivation. And so I think it's important if you can find very specific things in your life that you know will help get you motivated in the long run. All right, next question. I love you. I love you too. What's your favorite cola soda? Honestly, I really like Fanta. I like European Fanta. There's a video of me when I first went to my first cruise ship and I got a European Fanta for the first time. And it tastes completely different than American Fanta or any other country's Fanta. And I think it's great. And yes, Fanta is a Coca-Cola product, so it's okay. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to make my way. I didn't expect this whole pandemic to last as long as it has, and I'm starting to realize the severity of it. And I'm not saying I just realized it right now, I've like realized it within this past month. But yeah, this is crazy, and I can't believe how this is affecting the entire world, and I think that's insane. But yeah, I'm making my way, doing my best with the sources of income that I do have now still. And I feel like this is a lot of motivation to create and to push myself even harder than I ever have before. Because now it's like a challenge now that different sources of income have been cut off. So now it's like an exciting game to see if I can beat this challenge and step up to the plate, you know, but I'm good. I'll be fine. And if you would like to support me, check out my lesson packs or my Patreon or get Skype lessons, use code Corona for 30% off. But really, I do appreciate everyone that's helped out and helped me in many ways. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for listening in the first place. What types of things should younger drummers be preparing for? Oh, and it's continued, and it says when it comes to Berkeley and cruise ships. If you want to know about Berkeley and cruise ships, I have videos on that. But here's something that I want to talk about that I feel like I should harp on, because now is a very crucial time for this industry and for lots of musicians, almost all musicians, the entire entertainment industry, and a lot of the world right now. So for younger drummers that are going after this goal like I did at one point, something to think about that I feel like has been a big wake-up call for a lot of musicians in this industry now is social media. But I believe that social media is going to become even more crucial in the future of this industry. And of course, social media has brought me where I am today. And so I do believe it is extremely crucial. I wouldn't say that you have to do social media to be successful, but it is a path that I've taken to get to where I'm at currently. And I think this is very important because right now, almost all gigs are canceled or postponed, and that whole source of income is dried up basically right now, and will be for potentially a while, which sucks. And I can honestly tell you that if I didn't have social media right now, I would be struggling. Like, this time right now would be 100 times more difficult without you guys and girls. And I'm very thankful that I took the time and invested in this so that I could survive during this time through lessons and lesson packs and just YouTube ad revenue. And so getting back to the question, younger drummers should think about different sources of income through not only gigs, but potentially the internet and social media and creating content. Of course, if that's just not your thing, then you don't have to do that, because there's many other ways to survive. But in my opinion, there's just many ways that you can survive with the internet. And I feel like that is something else to look into, especially if you want to succeed in this industry. Because the problem with many musicians right now who relied solely on gigs this time is extremely, extremely difficult. And of course, like I said, you don't have to do it for the following, but just to have your name out there so people know who you are, people know what you're capable of. There's just many benefits that I have found with doing social media and investing my time into it to share my thoughts and my ideas and things that I think are cool playing wise. So take that with a grain of salt and just keep that in mind as times are changing, and especially right now, a lot of people are turning to social media so that they can make ends meet, like myself. So yeah, be prepared, do your research, and just think about the other things you can do to survive, especially when one thing you can rely on could potentially be taken away from you. So yeah, I'm gonna end this Q&A on that note. But before I go, I want you guys to tell me in the comments what you would like to see from me, because I have time, and I have time to invest in bigger ideas and concepts and things of that nature. So if you have anything specific that you would like to see from me or think that I should look into, then please tell me. I'll be going through the comments and seeing what's good, what you guys have to offer. Hope you guys enjoyed. So yeah, friends, fam, my name is Dave Cole and I play drums, and I'll see you, my friends, fam, later.